Hey there, you're listening to BD4, where there's no better way to get your Yankees and Knicks analysis. Yanks every series, Knicks every game, and MMA on occasion. Here's your host, RJ Carbone.
And a high drive into left center field. Stanley's going to watch another one fly. Are you kidding me? DiVincenzo a three. Bang! Bang! Knicks take a
Take this time to apologize to absolutely nobody.
At the wall. See ya! See ya! See ya! Mr. Nobody.
Anthony for three. Bang! That one goes down and the game is tied.
Rose, you shook up the world again.
I did it again. But God did it, man. I really just had
Gonna have to. Brunson running away. Oh my! He has been the best player to put on that uniform.
Ball game over. Yankees win. The Yankees win.
All right. Well, that was not the series you wanted. I think it was a very telling series for where the Yankees are right now. They drop 2 out of 3 in LA at Dodger Stadium to finish up their road trip. You know, lost the first 2 games, salvaged it with the win in the last game. An impressive win against possibly the NL Cy Young winner on Sunday. But you lost by 16 runs on Saturday. You blew a decent lead on Friday. And so, you go 6-3 out west. Call it a successful trip. Who really cares about beating the Rockies or beating the Angels? This was a telling series. The Yankees are undoubtedly a strong team. I think a lot of the time their depth this season is going underappreciated, especially offensively. I think they're able to score a lot of runs in different ways, a lot of guys in the order. I think they run the bases very well, and they help get some extra runs that way. I think they're powerful, but they can also score in other ways. They're 7-7 without hitting home runs. That's good. They're a good team. However, when you measure that against the lofty standards by the world champion, reigning champion Dodgers, that's when you see the difference. That's when it becomes clear that the Yankees kind of need to be flawless if they want to be a contender in October. Right? And as good as they are and as deep as they are, unfortunately, this Yankees roster is not yet equipped to beat the Dodgers. So moves are going to have to be made. A reliever, an infielder, solid moves too. Like no BS cheap moves. Moves that might hurt your farm system need to be made. Guys are going to have to get back and get healthy. So, honestly, I believe the Yankees are good enough to beat any other team in this league. I am not afraid of any American League team, not even the Detroit Tigers. I know the Detroit Tigers are having a fun little season. Last year they were fun. This year they're even better. I'm not afraid of them. I'm not afraid of any American League team. And the Yankees have even shown, for what it's worth, that they can beat the Padres, and they beat the Mets the other week. The Dodgers are a different story, and you saw that. And it's not even like these 3 games, because regular season wins and losses are not the end all be all, right? I mean, just look at Knicks Celtics. But I think what's telling is the personnel. You know, and you look at a team like the Yankees and you go to the bottom of their order. Again, anybody who tells you the Yankees aren't deep and it's a weak lineup or it's top heavy, anybody who tells you any of that, they're out of their tiny little minds. I mean, the Yankees scored 4 runs on Yamamoto and knocked him out before the 4th inning ended. And Judge was 0 for in that game. That's depth. You're getting production from a ton of guys. Judge, Goldschmidt, Rice, Grisham, Dominguez, Volpe, Bellinger. All 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, all 7 of those guys have a 110 OPS plus, have an on-base percentage of above 320, and have a slugging percentage of above 420. All 7 of those guys have all 3 of those metrics. Also, your 2 catchers, Wells and Escara, great out as above average bats so far in terms of OPS plus. I know Wells' on-base percentage is poor, and Escara, it's more of a small sample size, but the point being, you have a deep lineup. But the caveat is it's being compared right now to the Dodgers, the team you just lost to in the World Series. And it's not to be compared to the 28 other lineups because you know you can handle those teams. But you go to the bottom of the Yankee order, and that's where they drastically fall off a cliff versus where the Dodgers are. Pablo Reyes, DJ LeMahieu, I know he had a good night. Yorbeat Vivas, Oswald Peraza, Cabrera when he was here. Those aren't serious options to play third base for you. Pablo Reyes has a 38 OPS plus in 28 plate appearances. LeMahieu, after his 4-hit game, still has an 83 OPS plus in 51 plate appearances. Vivas has a 49 OPS plus in 53 plate appearances. Peraza has a 59 OPS plus in 98 plate appearances. And Cabrera, when he was healthy, had an 81 OPS plus in 122 plate appearances. Yankee 9-hole hitters have an OPS of 620. That's the lowest of all the spots in their order. Yankee third basemen have an OPS of 555. That's the lowest OPS in all spots and all positions on the field. So, yes, hopefully Jazz Chisholm comes back and he helps and he starts hitting and he's more productive when he comes back. But you still need more. You're going to need to go out and grab a right-handed bat. The goal should be perfection, to be honest. How can we perfect this lineup? Not make it good, not make it very good, not make it great. How can we make it perfect? Let's put 9 guys out there at the same time who are major league threats. Let's not have any weak points. It shouldn't be let's have 7 guys be really strong, but 2 guys be really weak. No, it should be let's have 1 to 9 above average. Because that's what you have to compare it to. You have to compare it to the Dodgers team that you're trying to beat. Because if you make it to the World Series again this year, there's a good chance you're playing the Dodgers. Do I sound crazy and spoiled right now? Sure. But, am I wrong? I mean, look at the Dodgers pitching depth. You know, if they're all healthy in time, that's you need to match that. You need to counter that, and you need to match their lineup. They've got pitching out the ass. And that's another thing I think the Yankees are going to need to improve in. And in particular, it's in the middle of that bullpen. Right, the Yankee bullpen has been pretty good this year. It's not exactly elite like I was expecting / hoping, so far at least. You know, it's the same thing. It's like the depth is there, but when you compare it to the Dodgers and you look at their lineup and how well balanced they are, and you look at the depth, and yeah, the numbers are there, but how many guys can you look at right now in the Yankee bullpen and say you trust to get out of a jam in a one-run game, man on third base in the 8th inning? How many guys can you really say that you trust to get out of a traffic jam? Luke Weaver, right? He's proven. He's out for 6 weeks. Fernando Cruz, he's filthy, and I think Matt Blake has figured it out. I really do think Fernando Cruz, I know he walks a lot of guys, and you want to see him do what he's done so far, second time through the league and all that. I do trust him. After that, it's like, well, I don't know. Like, do I fully trust anybody else? Mark Leiter Jr. has been good, but he's had some shaky outings. He's had his issues with inherited runners and, Tim Hill. He's been fine. Hasn't quite been what he was at the end of the year last year, and he's somebody who I'm never really going to fully trust. He'll get ground balls, but ground balls find holes. Ian Hamilton cannot command his fastball nearly enough. Johnny Loizaga, he's been very shaky. His pitch sequencing against lefties is not promising. His velocity is a little bit down. Devin Williams, another guy who, does he have that fastball on that specific day? You don't know. Can you trust someone like him? It's the mental game with Devin Williams. He's going to have to step up right now. So the hope is that some of these guys who you expect to find it. Devin Williams does have a track record of being an outstanding pitcher. Ian Hamilton, despite the struggles this year, you look at the underlying metrics, they're pretty good. And also, you've got Jay Cousins returning along with Fernando Cruz. Jay Cousins is a guy who's really good in that righty-on-righty role, throwing that slider. He was good for you at the end of last year. But it just feels like with this bullpen, there are a lot of specialists. This is something we've hit on before, right? There are a lot of guys who are good in specific lanes, in this inning, that inning. A lot of guys who are good versus a specific side of the plate. Lefty-righty, lefty-lefty. A lot of guys who have an elite one pitch. Like my breaking pitch is really good. My off speed, this changeup, this splitter, but they lack, an arsenal. They lack velocity. So I do feel like the bullpen, in order to match up and be able to counter that Dodger lineup, I still feel like you need one more arm. And preferably you want another left-handed pitcher in there who can get both sides of the plate out. It'd be nice if that guy had some velo on his fastball, but, who's really out there? This is why I was praying the Yankees would at least make an effort to pay Tanner Scott some money. Despite the bullshit narrative about paying relief pitchers, you're an organization who sits on billions and billions of bucks. Who cares? I also wanted them to pay Josh Hader a couple years ago, but hey. I also wanted them to go pay Andrew Chafin. Take a flyer on him this past winter. But hey, for whatever reason, it had to be Tim Hill or Andrew Chafin. God forbid you go out and get both. Let's take a flyer on Tyler Matzik instead and see if we can tap into what he was 4 years ago. A guy who couldn't even make it through May. That's the thing. Like, that's my only issue. Like, I talked about this a lot last year. I remember the whole Cashman finds a random, Blake turns him into a gem. You can do that sporadically throughout your bullpen, but to make the very vast majority of your bullpen reclamation projects for Matt Blake is asking a lot. And I just feel like they do need one more reliever if they want to take that next step. But I thought I would open with that before we dive into this series, this Yankees-Dodgers juiced ball series, one would say. Jesus, come on, Yankees-Dodgers, Nationals TV, you got Judge Ohtani. There's no shot they didn't juice the balls. Those things were flying. And hey, why wouldn't they, right? So let's talk about this series where the Yankees dropped 2 out of 3, and we will do that when we return from our first break here on the show. Stay with us here on episode 873 of the podcast. I'll be right back.
Quick break here, guys. Stay connected with BD4 on social media. Follow us on Instagram and X at BD4Pod, and find us on Facebook by searching BD4. Don't miss out. Join the conversation. Want more BD4? Subscribe to our YouTube channel and never miss an episode. Hit that like button, drop a comment, and share with your fellow fans. Don't forget to ring that bell so you're always the first to know when a new video drops.
All right, welcome back to the show. Episode 873 of the podcast. I appreciate you all tuning in. The Yankees dropped 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers. I was going to say take 2 out of 3. They dropped 2 out of 3 at Dodger Stadium. Let's talk about it. The first game of this series was on Friday. It was the Apple TV game, so I had to waste $10 on this game because the Yankees committed another choke job. Another choke job. In the first game back from choking away, game 5, they choke. Friday night, they lose 8-5 to the Dodgers. It was Fried versus the righty Tony Gonsolin. Top of the first inning, you get the Aaron Judge solo home run. Ohtani responds in the bottom of the first to tie it up. Top of the second, Austin Wells and Trent Grisham go deep. 4-1 Yankees. Bottom 2, Hernandez with an RBI to make it 4-2. But the Yankees respond top 3 when Paul Goldschmidt goes deep, and it's 5-2 Yankees after the top of the third. Fast forward a couple of innings later, and the wheels completely fall off for Max Fried in the bottom of the 6th inning. Him and the Yankees just completely fold, and the Dodgers end up coming back and winning this one again 8-5. Fried goes 5+ innings of 6-run ball, allows 8 hits, 3 of them extra base hits, no walks, only 3 strikeouts, and he gets the loss. I'm not going to lie, this one left a really poor taste in my mouth. Max Fried, I know he's been so good and he was due for a clunker at some point, but this was his first true test, like the Mets was a quiz. This was his first true test, and he had a miserable performance. And he was bad from the start. His stuff was poor. He was getting hit very hard. He just had nothing. And so it left a bad taste in my mouth. And so now with Max Fried, kind of just got to wait until he faces the Dodgers again. And that's not going to be for a long time. So he was bad. Very bad. The Yankee bullpen, also not great. 3 innings, 2 runs, 4 hits, 2 walks, a strikeout. Loaizaga pitches an inning and a third, no runs, puts 2 base runners on. Bottom 6, he allows the inherited runner to score off the Page's RBI single. So that made it 5-3 at the time. Tim Hill pitches an inning, no runs, 1 base runner. He escapes a jam in the 6th. Bottom 7, he gets Ohtani before he gets pulled. And then De Los Santos pitched an inning or a third of an inning, 2 runs, 3 base runners. It was the bottom of the 7th inning. He comes in and he does just an awful job. It's 8-5 Dodgers after he leaves. Peraza makes the E5 during the inning. Hedrick comes in at the end, an inning and a third, no runs, no base runners, nobody cares. The bullpen decision-making in this game was interesting. Loaizaga, I thought, could have went a little longer. And I also thought that the move to go to De Los Santos was interesting. The bats, 5 runs on 9 hits, 4 home runs, 4 walks, 6 strikeouts, 1 double play grounded into, and they were 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position. You look at the box score, Trent Grisham had a 2 for 5 night, home run, 2 RBIs. Aaron Judge, 2 for 5, home run, double RBI. Goldschmidt, 1 for 5 with a home run. Wells, 1 for 3, home run. He jumped first pitch. Would like to see him jump first pitch more. Also walked. Rice, 2 for 3 with a walk. Dominguez, a pinch hit single, 1 for 1. Against Gonsolin, the Yankees scored 5 runs in 6. And against the Dodger bullpen, no runs in 3. I thought they did a pathetic job of capitalizing in advantageous situations. Top of the first inning, After the Judge home run, you got first and third, 2 outs. Volpe flies out on a splitter middle. Top 3, after the Goldschmidt home run, you got Rice on first base with the single. Volpe grounds into a double play. Later in the inning, you got first and second, 2 outs. Peraza strikes out looking. Tough call, but you got to swing the bat there. And then top 7, Judge 1 out double. The Yankees waste that. Top 8, you got runners on the corners with 2 outs. LeMahieu with the pinch hit fly out. I thought it was a tough game for Boone. I did not like the DJ pinch hit at bat. I would still rather go with Scar left on left than DJ there. I just think the DJ thing is crazy to me. I know he had 4 hits on Sunday. I don't care. The Dodgers just cut Chris Taylor. I saw a perfect tweet saying, like, the Yankees are cutting corners. The Dodgers are always trying to improve while the Yankees are always trying to maneuver around things and make things work. I thought that was so true. Stop shoving DJ LeMahieu down our throat. I'm sick of his face. I'm sick of his slow bat. And I'm sick of the Yankees faking it like he's impactful just because he's Judge's BFF. It bothered me seeing him pinch hit there. And then I didn't like the bullpen decision again. Santos during a tight game. I don't know. But that was the first game of the set. And if you thought that was a bad game, Saturday was worse. Yeah. Game 2, the Dodgers win 18-2. An utter disgrace. A complete embarrassment. Just left a bad taste in my mouth. I've said that twice already. Like, gross. It was Warren versus the righty Knack. I don't really have a true recap here. Warren got lit the fuck up. The Yankee bullpen got lit the fuck up. The Yankee bats did 0 against a random. Judge did hit 2 home runs. Cool. It was a nightmare game from hell. And to be honest with you guys, I stopped watching. I didn't pay attention. Once the Knick game started, I committed my attention to that. And I think it was like 7-0, not even then. I think it was 4-0 when I stopped. Just couldn't take it anymore. It was gross. It was disgusting, and I wanted nothing to do with it. So we're going to skip right past Game 2, where Will Warren took the loss. And let's get into Sunday's win yesterday, Game 3. 7-3 over the Dodgers. It was a nice rebound against Yamamoto. Yarbrough against the righty Yamamoto. Baseball's funny like that, being this is the game they win. Top 1, Dominguez RBI base hit. Play the kid every day, please. Hopefully he's healthy. Bottom 2, Edmund solo home run ties the game. Top 3, Rice home run. Then you get the wild pitch with Volpe on third base. The Yankees make it 4-1. Top 5, LeMahieu and Peraza RBI hits. 6-1 Yanks. Bottom 7, Lasagna comes in. He struggles. Pajes and Muncy hit homers. It's 6-3 now. But top 9, LeMahieu RBI double makes it 7-3 Yanks. And that's where they would win by. So you got the Dodgers throwing the ball all over the place in this game. The irony on that is fantastic. And the Yankees put 4 runs on 7 hits against Yamamoto through 3 2/3 innings. He didn't have his best stuff, but I liked the fact that the Yankees made him work, and they got ahead in counts early in this game, and they knocked him out before he can complete 4. So that's a great job. In total, they scored 7 runs on 11 hits, 9 of them singles, 7 walks, 11 strikeouts. They were 4 for 16 in scoring position. LeMahieu goes 4 for 5, a double, 2 RBIs. Every other Yankee in this game had a hit, except for Judge and Bellinger. Judge did walk, and then Bellinger did pinch hit later. He got hit by a pitch. The bullpen, 3 innings, 2 runs, 5 strikeouts. Again, Lasagna struggled. Devin Williams looked great. And then Tim Hill, I thought, did a nice job after that. But on the mound in this game was Ryan Yarbrough, and that's where we're going to start because we are going to tip our cap to the Yankee starter first. Ryan Yarbrough. That was impressive, dude. This is his first time this season where we're tipping our cap to him. I'm not going to lie. I said it multiple times throughout this series, multiple times on Sunday during the game. I did not love the move because with Rodon available, you had an off day before the series and you had a day off today. You could have went to Carlos Rodon. You could have went to your second ace against the team that you're trying to beat. But I guess because, I don't know, was it the fact that the Yankees don't want to show the Dodgers Rodon yet? You know, was it the fact that Yarbrough does know this Dodger lineup well, being that he won a ring with them? It's pretty funny, by the way. Got his ring on Friday. Maybe it's just the guy's pitching really great ball for the Yankees, right? Like, this is the first time I was truly impressed with Yarbrough. Like, you could do it against the Rockies, or was it the Rockies or the Angels, whoever he did it against last 2 series, but you could do it against those teams. When you go up against the best lineup in baseball, and I know they didn't have Betts, but it's a tough, deep Dodger lineup, and you go 6 innings, 1 run, 4 hits, no walks, 1 home run, but 5 strikeouts, 93 pitches, and you get the win. That's tough. That's impressive. And Dodger hitters, I can't fucking speak. Let me see what that stat is. Here it is. The Dodgers 1-4 hitters, they said on Sunday Night Baseball. I wrote it down here in my notes. The Dodgers 1-4 hitters on Sunday went 0 for 16. So Yarbrough had obviously a lot to do with that. The guy's been great. He's been really good. And you go to his baseball savant. It's what I call it last episode. It's the Red Sea. Like, everything except for velocity and chase and ground ball rate is very red. And in this game, he was dominating with his cutter and his sweeper. And that sweeper, I call it a curveball because it looks like a curve a lot of the time. It's a super tough pitch to hit, considering that arm angle that he throws it at. He's just consistently clipping the edges with it. He continues to stay out of the middle of the plate, keeping the Dodgers off balance all night. He got through the order multiple times. That was something I love to see. How they adjust to his stuff second and third time. Pitch 6. He got a lot of swing and miss with all of his pitches, right? In the first inning, he gets Ohtani to strike out swinging. He goes changeup low and away, painted. He ends his night there in the bottom of the 6th, getting Freddie Freeman to strike out swinging. It was a sinker coming in upstairs. He was generating a lot of weak contact all night. Even the 1 extra base hit that he allowed, it was the Pages double. It was below 80 miles an hour off the bat. And then bottom of the 6th, when he induced that Ohtani ground out, he gave him a 2-seamer way inside on the hands. Ohtani could not get his bat around to it. Weak ground ball out. So just really impressive stuff. And what he's doing this season, he's mastered his pitch mix. Like, he's been very equal in what he throws. He's 24% cutter this year, 23% sinker, 23% sweeper, 21% changeup, and 9% four-seam. Just doesn't have velocity, but because he mixes in off-speed pitches and places his cutters and his 2-seamers in the right spots, he's a soft contact machine, especially when he throws those changeups and sweepers, right? The sweeper is his best weapon going away on lefties. The changeup is his best weapon going away on righties, right? And we've talked about how he's altered the grip on that changeup this year to make it more of a weapon for himself. He gets a ton of whiffs with those 2 pitches, but the cutter's been a great pitch for him this season. He's mixing in the sinker to both sides of the plate, right? It's a really good pitch to righties. So Yarbrough has been fantastic. He now has an ERA on the year of 2.98. I'm sorry, no, 2.83. It went down to 2.83. He's 3-0 with a .99 whip. So, is he going to keep pitching like this? Probably not. But did the Yankees strike gold here? Did Matt Blake find something and tap into something again? Possibly. This is a kid who was just DFA'd at the end of camp by the Blue Jays. Yankees picked him up. You know how Matt Blake is with changeups. He always gets guys to figure out changeups and cutters. He's really good with that. It's working so far. So shout out to Ryan Yarbrough. We tip our cap to him for the first time this year. And while we're tipping our cap, let's go to the bullpen, because I did think that Tim Hill was the best Yankee reliever of this series. He pitched in 2 games. He pitched on Friday, the 30th, in Game 1, and he pitched on Sunday, the 1st, Game 3 of the series. 2 innings combined, no runs, 1 strikeout, no hits, 1 walk, 25 pitches, 2 no decisions in this series. He just continues to bounce back. He had a little bit of a rough stretch. He's, again, not a guy I totally trust to get outs, but he's a guy who I trust to do what he's brought in to do. He's brought in to get ground balls. It's just sometimes when you get a ground ball and your infield is shifted a certain way, they're going to find holes, right? It's very much like the Clay Holmes effect. But good for Tim Hill. It's the second time we're tipping our cap to him. And, he's kind of like the Yarbrough of the bullpen. A guy who doesn't throw hard, guy who's got to rely on soft contact, location, and different arm angles, left-hander. So good for Tim Hill. We tip our cap to him, and we will finally tip our cap to Aaron Judge, who I thought was the best Yankee bat of the series, going 5 for 13 for 385 average, a 1582 OPS, 1 double, 3 home runs in this series, 3 RBIs, a walk, 4 runs scored, 15 total bases. I mean, the numbers on the year are, and I say they're down to 391, 485, 764. Down to that. That's how amazing this guy's been, where his average went down this series and he went 5 for 13. That's insane. We're in June, and he's batting 391 with a 1248 OPS, 15 doubles, 2 triples, 21 homers, 50 RBIs. He's flirting with a triple crown. Might not hit 400, but I think he's got a better chance of getting the Triple Crown than ever before. It's been remarkable. So we tip our cap to Aaron Judge for the 9th time. It was really fun seeing him and Shohei kind of go toe-to-toe there, So Aaron Judge, we tip our cap to him for the 9th time. And folks, with that said, we can wrap this up here. So we're going to head to our final break. Get back. We'll talk about what we got coming up next, get to our trivia, and then we'll wrap it up after that. Stay with us. We'll be back in just a sec.
Love BD4 but don't have the time to sit down and watch? Don't forget to subscribe on Apple Podcasts and Spotify so you never miss an episode. And if you're enjoying the show, leave us a 5-star rating and a quick review. It helps us grow and keeps the conversation going. Want everything BD4 in one place? Head to our website at BD4blog.com. You'll find links to every podcast platform, social media, and even our blog, where we dive deeper into all things BD4. Check it out now and stay connected.
Okay. Welcome back to the show. Episode 873 of the podcast. I appreciate you all tuning in. Now, the good thing for the Yankees, despite the Luke Weaver news and despite possibly coming soon the Jason Dominguez news with the thumb contusion, I'm assuming it's going to be at the very least day-to-day. Could be a DL stint, we'll see. Despite that, there are some positive things on the horizon. You just got done with your last West Coast trip of the season, so you're not going to have to go out west the rest of the year. That's huge. And you got guys returning. You got Cousins, Cruz, and I think Jazz Chisholm. I believe all 3 of them are back this week at some point. I know Tuesday it's Cousins and maybe Cruz, and I think Jazz a little later in the week. But all 3 of them are back this week. But yeah, you got some beatable competition coming up. You look at the month of June, you've got Toronto, you've got the A's, you've got Cincinnati, you got the Angels again, and you also have Boston and Cleveland. And that's where we talk about what's coming up next here. You got obviously the day off tonight, and then you have a 6-game homestand beginning tomorrow, where you're playing 3 against the Cleveland Guardians, who are just barely above 500, and then you got 3 against the Boston Red Sox, who are just not a good team. They're a laughable team. I think Bregman's hurt, so they're in 4th place right now, 29-33. But up next, you got the Cleveland Guardians, who are in 2nd place at 32-26. So a team you should be beating. They are a team that has had trouble scoring runs this year. So given that you're going to have Rodon starting in this series and also Max Fried, you need to, at the very least, take 2 out of 3. And I think it's Schmidt, right? It's going to be Rodon, Schmidt, and Fried. I'm pretty sure that's the way it's setting up. So that's what's coming up this week. You got Cleveland, and then you got Boston on the weekend. So with that said, let's wrap this up with our trivia question of the day, and then we'll get out of here. Let's get to it. All right. So for this episode here, episode 873 of the podcast, our trivia question of the day: which Yankee set the team record for pinch hit home runs in 1961 with 4? Which Yankee set the team record for pinch hit home runs in 1961 with 4? All right, let me know the answer wherever you can reach me. And I appreciate you all tuning in, as always, and I will see you in the next episode of BD4. But the Yankees do drop 2 out of 3 to the Dodgers. Hopefully they can rebound against Cleveland this week. See you. Well, if you made it this far, that means you listened to or watched the entire episode. Thank you. Just remember to follow, subscribe, download, rate, and review, and all that fun stuff to help out the podcast. And I will see you in the next episode of BD4.